Hey everyone, Adam and Jen here, and it's July and it's time for a July farm tour and update. So we're going to walk around and show you how a few things have changed.
A lot of things are blooming on the farm, which you're going to be seeing, and it's just amazing to watch the progress and the evolution of the farm as we go through the season. We're now in the height of bloom season, and it's only up from here. It's going to keep blooming and blooming until, I don't know, mid-October.
Yeah. And tomorrow's Jen's birthday, so wish her a happy birthday, y'all.
What do y'all think? This is our place where we flipped the rows that we had growing and we put something new in. Right here we actually have zinnias and some ageratum, some status. I did leave a little bit of a me right in the middle of the row that we had growing.
We had to leave it. It was beautiful greenery.
Yeah, we always need it. It is so light and fluffy and looks really romantic and beautiful, especially in wedding bouquets. We might get one more planting in here before the end of the season.
Maybe. We always try and push it, see how late we can go.
Yeah, and especially in this area where you see it's starting to get all big and tall, we'll probably end up pulling this out at some point and putting a little something else in its place. So mid-season succession planting. This is going to be, I don't know, blooming in probably about 60 days, right?
Yeah.
No, 30
It's middle
days.
of July, so...
The end of next month.
Yeah, about the end of August we'll start to have blooms trickling out of here.
Yep, we can't wait to see them, and it's just amazing to start with a clean slate like this with no weeds. We have our specialty dahlia cuttings and some of the tubers planted. You can see how nice and neat it looks. It might be this way for another couple weeks or so, but not for very long.
Yeah, we'll work pretty hard on keeping it weed free. We actually just came through this morning with some hose and wheeled out some, or not wheeled, but hoed out some of the little tiny baby weed seeds, so we got a good start on it. We prepped this by adding tons and tons of organic matter.
It was looking really dry and parched in here. The earth needed a little juice, so Adam and the farm manager Levi came in and added so much composted material. Everything's looking amazing again, well hydrated, and we're hoping our little dahlia babies grow strong and flourish.
Yeah, this is heavily composted, so the soil's going to be real happy.
We actually just had some really heavy rains. We had 3.5 inches of rain over the course of the weekend, starting Friday night, Saturday night, and we've had a little bit of washout come through the tunnel. Our high tunnel's planted on the side of a hill, not a steep hill, but a slight incline, and we did have a little bit of erosion come through here. This is where it kind of washed out and washed through, so we'll have to come back in and patch that up so that we don't have that going forward.
It was a crazy amount of rain in a short period of time.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was a wild weekend for sure.
We had a few extra lavender plants, and we're just looking for places to shove them. So this area in front of our greenhouse was just kind of vacant and weedy. We had a pathway, and that was about it, and really hadn't invested a whole lot of time into make it in anything. So we threw some lavender in here, so I think it'll be a nice addition for this little area right next to the grapes here. Grape lavender. Maybe the grapes will pick up some lavender flavor. I don't know.
We're laughing because it's like wherever we have extra space to grow things now, we're like, we're going to plant lavender. We'll have lavender all over the place. Wherever we find an extra spot, lavender is going to go. So if you see lavender everywhere, it's intentional. We're like, we have some left, let's plant it.
We wanted to show y'all some of the growth from our last video. This is our Chester copperpot row. Were they even planted?
They were planted. They were just little tiny babies.
Tiny baby seedlings.
But yeah, they've grown quite a bit and they're looking amazing.
And after all this rain that we just received, they're going to explode now. So you see these rows were just planted just the other day. So perfect timing right before all that rain.
Yeah, and let's show them. Back behind the Chester back there actually is our apple tree, and it is just completely loaded with apples. And we're excited to be able to, we have a bumper crop of apples this year.
Jen's over there looking for caterpillars on the milkweed.
I didn't see any.
Our new lavender field, the plants are really starting to take root and go. Can't really see it in the camera, but they're a lot bigger than they were last month, especially after that nice dose of rain that we had. So I think the root systems are really starting to take root. Is that the word?
They're starting to take off.
They're starting to really take off and get established. We're really happy that they have done well in this first year of planting.
Yeah, it gets a little scary when you plant little tiny baby plants this big,
Yeah.
and it hits 100 degrees for a long time. And I feel like for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, it was like 100 degrees every day. That gets scary as a gardener, as a flower farmer, when that happens, because you think everything's going to die, and we spent quite a bit of time watering, and that's not good either for cost for our operation. So
Yep.
it was nice to get some rain, some consistent rain, to be able to water everything in. This is a new rose that I'm excited about this year. This is Honey Dijon, and this really cool gold color is just really so unique. They're doing really amazing. The only thing we've had to battle this season so far is Japanese beetles, and I actually see one on one of the blooms up there, so we're gonna have to come in and get a soapy bucket of water and drop it in.
This year we've had a lot of trouble with the Japanese beetles, and we haven't really had problems until this year. And we suspect last year we tried an experiment in using the Japanese beetle traps, and it attracted Japanese beetles to the trap, but not all of them went in the trap, and it just attracted more Japanese beetles to the farm. We don't recommend those Japanese beetle traps, not one bit, because we're suffering with them. I need to do another application of Milky Spore. That's the organic way to take care of them, and it does a really good job of keeping the Japanese beetle population down. Our annual beds are definitely shining bright like a diamond.
They're so colorful. I feel like being like, taste the rainbow.
They're absolutely blooming their heads off right now. So this is a beautiful little part of the farm right here.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
keep getting inquiries from photographers who have already booked sessions out here. They're like, what's in bloom? I'm like, every single flower, all the colors of the rainbow. Take your pick. Like, everything's in bloom. It's looking absolutely gorgeous. And we actually, above and beyond this, we can't wait to show you some of the wildflower installations in the back that are looking amazing.
Oh yeah.
We're excited to be able to cut from all of this, and for the rest of the season we're actually doing U-cuts every Saturday morning here on the farm. This is rudbeckia, and it was one thing that I seeded in about March that I was like, why not? I'm just gonna do a few trays of rudbeckia, we'll see what happens. Well, I did, I don't know, 10 trays of it, and here we are. I just threw it in, and I'm like, this is the best thing that I have ever done for myself. Not only does it look gorgeous in here, it adds this amazing wildflower pop to our seasonal bouquets that we've been producing, and people absolutely love them. I did 2 different varieties in here. I did Goldilocks, and I think I also did Prairie Sun. So those are the 2 I did, and they're looking perfecto.
All right, y'all, in our last video, I showed y'all our deer fence that we're protecting our sunflowers, and it looks super wrecked now, like the deer got in, but hey, it's not the case. The electric fence worked really, really well, and the sunflowers are just about done blooming. We have about most of what we're gonna cut out. We don't really get wrapped around the axle about having a few sunflowers left in the field. Our pollinators love it. And the bees are all over them like crazy, so it's nice to leave a few for our pollinator friends here on the farm.
These are our dahlia beds, and they're actually starting to bloom. I'm excited to finally have blooms here with all the dahlias that we have. And we told you all that we planted them in a gradient fashion, so it goes light to dark down on that side, and it's going to look like a rainbow. I'm excited to see everything in complete full bloom and the full effect just revealed.
I think a ombre dahlia garden is going to look really cool.
It is, for sure. This is our second dahlia bed, and they're starting to bloom like crazy. This is actually Hilltop Glow, one of our purple varieties. Hilltop Glow is going crazy. Robin Hood's going crazy. All of the dahlias are starting to go crazy. We'll actually come in here tomorrow. Tomorrow's weeding day, so we're going to weed all of these dahlias out. Not looking forward to it, but they're going to pull it pretty easy because we got all that rain. So.
Yeah, you can look forward to weeding after it rains because they pull out and just, it feels so good when you pull the weed up by the root.
Satisfying.
So satisfying.
Anyway, we're excited. Next time we give you a farm tour, this field should be absolutely covered in bloom. So you're just seeing it at the very early stages, but it's incredible to finally have these dahlias in bloom.
I wanted to get a last planting of our cutting sunflowers in. So these are different than our field ones that we grow for photographers. And so we're always scrambling, looking. We're surprisingly running out of areas to plant around the farm. So we're just looking for little areas that we can tuck things in. So I busted a couple rows out today and tilled them and got the last of our seeds planting. This will be the last succession that I do for the year.
And I looked out the window from the house. I could see Adam was doing this in front of the red barn. I'm like, yes, I support it 100%. Anytime we can put in sunflowers, I'm all about it.
And I'll walk you up to the red barn and show you. I had just like a handful of seeds left. So I'll show you what I'm going to try to do as just a little experiment, just trying something new here on the farm. With that handful of seeds, I just tilled right in front of the red barn here. It's something we've never done before, so it'll be a fun experiment. I want to see if the sunflowers will sprout and grow and maybe just have them as a pretty foreground for the red barn. So it'll be a beautiful backdrop of the sunflowers against the red barn. So I think photographers would really appreciate and love just this. It's going to look beautiful. I can't wait.
This is an update on our pollinator patch. This is Vera's pollinator patch. You saw it in the last video. It had just been planted. It's still a little small, but you can see the growth. If you watched the last video to this one, you can see the growth of things that are happening. There's a lot of butterfly weed in here, tons of rudbeckia. Things are really starting to flourish and take off, so I'm excited about this new project that we're working on.
Perennials are pretty slow to start off with a lot of the time. Next year and successive years, this is going to be blasting with pollinator blooms.
I'm actually excited though because the rattlesnake master that I planted in here is blooming, and I'll give you a close-up shot to show you what that looks like.
And the lavender is still actually purple. Starting to fade a little bit. We got about half of it harvested out. At this point, we don't get in a super hurry, so the last few rows we'll harvest out for dried, so we'll debud them and use the buds for different products rather than distilling. And we always leave a few rows for our photographers who love to get out in the farm and capture pictures in the lavender for sure.
Yep, you got it. I'm excited to get the rest of it harvested out though. Like Adam said, I'm going to do the buds, and I'm also going to start doing some dried bouquets and taking them and saving them for the fall.
Mm-hmm. And the lavender is still smelling incredible. We have a bistro table up here. We had a couple come out yesterday. A gentleman proposed to his future bride.
Yes.
She said yes.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
And we also had...
We had our one of our Kickstarter reward people come out last night. One of the rewards was a private tour of the farm and charcuterie board. And it was fun to have them out. And it was actually one of the most enjoying rewards. It was just, it's fun getting one-on-one with people and talking about the farm, and it's just
I think
very intimate.
They apologized for asking too many questions, and we were like, nope, we love this.
Yeah.
We will geek out about our farm any day.
We thrive on questions.
It was really fun. We had a great time, and they did too, for that matter. Like us, they're actually parents of 3 and had a chance to escape and have a wonderful date night.
Yeah, and that was fun to find out. Yeah, that they were actually having a little bit of a date night.
Yeah. Update on our second new lavender field here. We're really excited about these plants. They're actually way bigger than the first ones that we showed you. This is the first one we planted, and we came in, Friday? We just came in, we weeded everything out, and it gave them a really nice boost before all that rain we got. They're looking strong, they're looking healthy. It's going to be amazing. They're going to start to produce next year for the first time, so we're excited to see those blooms happen next year.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to say?
No, I'm happy it's getting established. They're like looking pretty darn big. It's awesome. I feel comfortable that they're happy and healthy.
Yeah, and you heard how much work we put into doing these plantings, so it's fun to see these things that we put so much time and hard work into actually be fruitful and take off and thrive.
Mm-hmm. What Jen said. Our new zinnia patch, they are starting to bloom. Like I mentioned before, this was an experiment. We've never done a mass planting like this before of zinnias in particular, and they're performing pretty darn well.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try and get up here and film the other side, but it is, ooh, it goes on and on and on.
It looks like a handful of Skittles.
And these zinnias are really starting to pop. They're just now starting to get going. They look really bright and beautiful, but I think they're just going to continue to go crazy. I mean, I see lots and lots of new buds and plants that have yet to bloom. I'm hoping that this is going to be a crazy mass bloom of zinnias to outpace all the weeds that are actually still in here. But for what it is, it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with it. The zinnias weren't totally choked out by the weeds, which we really can't complain about. And another awesome thing about having these zinnias grow, this just ridiculously huge field of zinnias for no reason, is the butterflies. They love zinnias. Was that one that just flew in the background?
Yeah.
They absolutely love zinnias. They love feeding on zinnias. So it's just an absolute pleasure to see all the butterflies.
This is one of the wildflower patches that I was talking about. This is a bunch of cosmos behind me. It's a specialty planting that we put in, and you can't see it, but right in the middle of it, we had the big storm that came through over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It knocked them all down, so in the middle, it's like laying flat. But it's okay.
Yeah.
What will happen is now that they're knocked over, they're just going to start to try to grow back up again.
Yeah, we're seeing all the side shoots that are in here, like starting to turn up and put out new blooms.
Yeah.
So all's not lost. It's still going to be gorgeous, gorgeous wildflowers.
I was cracking up though because customers who were out cutting their own bouquets, they were coming back up to the house or to the barn and telling me, "Hey, looks like something laid in the middle of your wildflower patch back in the back." Nope, that was the storm that happened. There was a different variety that we planted right down the middle. They were taller than the other ones and I guess less sturdy, and they completely toppled over.
I mean, it's such a big patch that it would have to been like a Tyrannosaurus Rex that laid down and took a nap in them. So
yeah, it was the winds. Actually, a lot of people around us got hail over the weekend. We didn't get any hail, so thank goodness for that, but we did get the wind.
Yeah.
It's okay.
In our last video, I showed you an area that was failed sunflowers. I was just struggling keeping the turkeys off. The turkeys in particular, the deer had yet to actually move in because the turkeys were just eating everything up. We had a few trays of lavender left. I went ahead and added more lavender. So this is going to be another couple of lavender gardens. All the way back there is going to be all lavender. So I think it's going to be a nice addition to this beautiful alley of trees that we have here. Once it's all blooming, it's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah, and specifically for weddings, this is going to be a nice addition, something to add color and a lot of romance to any ceremony that we have back in the back here.
Oh yeah. We'll head over to where we actually did successfully get some sunflowers to bloom, and I'll show you what we did. This back section of the property here, we had talked about maybe putting lavender in. You know, it's kind of one of the fields that we were being wishy-washy about. So it has been sitting dormant for a while, and I don't think, no, it wasn't in the last video. You know how we were talking about struggling with sunflowers and what I just showed y'all that is now lavender, and then what we had tried on sunflowers. So this was my last ditch effort. I threw caution to the wind. We looked at the weather forecast and saw that we were going to have 3 days of rain. So we got out here, and this was between 8 and 10 o'clock at night. So we raced to get it done. So we got out here, got this field tilled up, and spread sunflower seed, and it is sprouting like crazy.
And this is the furthest bed that we have away from our house, and this is the most susceptible to turkeys and deer, which is why Adam was kind of like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
but I'm glad he ended up putting these in. It looks like we're going to have a really crazy amount of sunflowers, and we'll probably put some measures in to help protect them a little bit more too.
Yeah, a couple of you had good suggestions that we were kind of already on top of.
Yeah.
We're going to eventually get that deer fence, the double deer fence, and put it around these sunflowers. I think I have enough. This is a lot bigger than that other tiny patch of 2 rows of sunflowers, but I'm going to see if I have enough material to keep this protected. It has sprouted ahead of the turkeys. The turkeys will pretty much leave it alone now. You will see them in here, but they're actually pecking at seed that did not sprout.
Yeah, we look out here, we look out of our window every morning and we see the turkeys actually out in here pecking around and scratching around.
Oh, those turkeys. But now is when we start to need to keep the deer off. But for the most part, I don't see a whole lot of deer damage. I see a couple of like trails where the deer have walked through, but I'm sure they're going to start grazing.
Oh, yeah.
This is deer candy. They love sunflowers, like I mentioned before. But yeah, I think we're going to get that electric fence up around these, and hopefully we'll have just an absolute gorgeous field of sunflowers for our photographers. So this is one that we just plant just for photography.
We've noticed this year on the farm there seems to be an increase in the number of monarch butterflies that we've been seeing. So we're hoping that this means their population has increased and that it's a positive sign for them.
Yeah, definitely. It has been really cool to see all the monarchs on the farm this year. We love our butterflies. Anything that's why we've been adding these wildflower installations. Is we love butterflies in particular. Who doesn't love butterflies?
I know, exactly, but they've been struggling the past few years, and because Iowa is a way station for the migration, we try to provide a little extra habitat.
And our farm in particular has become a huge butterfly waste station in and of itself. So we have seen a tremendous increase of butterflies. The more flowers that we add, the more acreage that we turn into flowers, the more butterflies we get, which is amazing.
I'll take it. That's awesome.
All right, y'all, that is our July farm tour.
We hope you enjoyed seeing the farm, everything we have in bloom. It's just been incredible to share it all with you today. We hope you're inspired to get growing.
If y'all enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining and happy growing.